federal employee charged with terrorism. She is accused of sharing the name of a federal agent with someone who made a threat against them.
Okay, you would think this is one of the biggest news stories out there, but hardly any major news outlet is talking about this. We have a woman who's being charged with terrorism because she allegedly leaked the name of one of the federal agents on a live stream during a deportation operation. Somebody saw the name and started making death threats towards that agent.
Democrats now launching an ICE tracking system. Congressman Robert Garcia and Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass announcing the, quote, immigration enforcement dashboard.
Now, ironically, Democrats have just released the Oversight Immigration Enforcement Dashboard. And obviously, we're getting into the territory of leaking sensitive information for the entire United States and the world to see. So, of course, we're going to dig into all of this. And spoiler alert, Homeland Security is not happy about this new database. Now, before we start the video, make sure to please like the video. It's the #1 way you guys are helping this channel, and it also helps others see the videos as well. And I think people want to see what's going on with the possibility of terror charges and what's really going on with this database. I found something that's a little concerning you might want to see, so make sure to get the videos out there.
First at 5, a federal employee charged with terrorism. She is accused of sharing the name of a federal agent with someone who made a threat against them. Thank you for joining us at 5. I'm Christine Galvan. Javi is off today. We learned of Karen De Leon's arrest just within the last 20 minutes. The Cameron County DA's office says she revealed the agent's name on a social media live stream. The stream was part of a federal law enforcement operation in June. Another man reportedly made a death threat toward one of the agents in the live stream. That is who she allegedly gave the agent's name to. The DA's office says De Leon is an employee at the United States Attorney's Office in Brownsville.
Okay, and that's pretty much all we have. Again, like I said at the beginning of the video, not a lot of outlets are talking about this story. We hardly have any other information. In fact, when I was investigating this story, I looked everywhere for this live stream. I couldn't find it, and I also could not find the specific deportation operation this person allegedly was leaking one of the names of the federal agents. But I do want to point out, this is where you can get into a lot of trouble when you start to watch or ICE track and you leak the names of federal agents. It's when somebody takes that information and they cause harm to the agent or threaten the agent, that's when you start to see people get in trouble. Again, this is all allegedly, but that's when Homeland Security starts to take this very serious, because you just gave away information that has led to the possibility of an ICE agent maybe losing his life, his family's being threatened. That's why this is a big deal, and I do expect we see a lot more cases like this if Homeland Security can identify that information that was leaked was being used against them from somebody else. Which is the perfect segue to talk about this Oversight Immigration Enforcement Dashboard, because when you scroll down, and you can go visit this dashboard yourself, it talks about all of these different incidents or issues that the Oversight Committee might want to look into. Now, you can look at the categories off the bat, and everything seems to be anti-ICE. There's no category or nothing about how protesters may have taken things too far. That is nowhere throughout this entire list. Everything is concerning use of force, 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 enforcement action, concerning use of force, concerning use of force. There's nothing about protesters, okay? Nothing at all. And to clarify, when I say there's nothing about protesters, there's no category to identify that protesters may have taken things too far, such as concerning use of force by protesters. It's just concerning use of force by ICE agents. So let's get to this.
Democrats now launching an ICE tracking system. Congressman Robert Garcia and Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass announcing the, quote, immigration enforcement dashboard. Listen to this.
We already have over 250 documented instances that are now live on this dashboard, and we're working with numerous organizations to also ensure that we are getting the right information on the site.
Who are those organizations? What data is being collected behind the scenes? What is actually happening? I wish we could see what the information is being talked about, how we can truly identify these incidents as a legitimate incident.
Importantly is that the public can also now submit possible actions of misconduct on the site, and then they're reviewed by our committee, then to be posted for the public.
Let's bring in DHS Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin. And Tricia, you know, we've already heard about opponents of ICE and their operations, tracking movements on these apps that have proliferated across social media. Now we have the official imprimatur of the House Oversight Committee on the Democratic side saying, this is a government operation. We want you to report.
Yeah, I mean, your taxpayer money is technically going to this operation. So you can leave your comments down below how you feel about that. And I wouldn't be surprised if some sort of judicial action or the possibility of a lawsuit gets thrown towards this operation, because I don't know how many Americans would feel okay with the organization and data collecting of these supposed incidents.
Proper behavior on the part of ICE and other federal agents. What do you make of this?
Exactly, John. This looks like a one-stop shop for hoaxes, for smears, for lies against our law enforcement. This is a U.S. congressman. His job is to advance the interests of the American people, and he's doing anything but that. He continues to vilify our law enforcement. He's really putting politics ahead of public safety. If he cared about public safety, he would be tracking these rampant vehicle rammings against our law enforcement by violent agitators.
That list would be absolutely full, and that's why I wanted to show you guys off the bat. When you look at the category of the incidents and the issues, it's all anti-ICE. I don't see anything that's like ICE incident attacked by protesters, nothing like that. You guys get the point.
And by the aliens themselves, the criminal legal, what the crimes are against the American people. Instead, this is another fundraising ploy for this individual, and this is a way for him to get on MSNBC. We already have Blue Sky and MSNBC for this one-stop shop for smears. We don't need any more tactics.
I just want to put up the website so folks at home can become familiar with it. As you heard at the top here, Congressman Garcia says that they already have 250 complaints of alleged improper behavior on the part of ICE. And my question is, if they are soliciting information from the public, will it go through a vetting and investigatory process?
Now, for some reason, a lot of people don't seem to realize that when you look into the sources being used to identify what the incident is within the database, a lot of these sources are not like government official sources. I mean, when you go through these sources, we're looking at the New York Times, NBC Chicago, the Chicago Tribune, I saw the Washington Post in here, MSN. So again, I want to be clear here. I'm not accusing these news sources of lying about the stories. I'm just trying to point out when you go to the sources of what the incident was, we're being shown a lot of news sources that tend to lean in one certain direction. As far as political ideology.
Posted up there, you know, some of them might be legitimate, but a lot of them could be just hearsay, or some of them could be downright malicious.
Well, I wouldn't expect much less of this congressman, unfortunately. We've been seeing time and time again, politicians and the media themselves pushing unfounded hoaxes that ended up being completely untrue. We see this with the New York Times, we see this with AP, and they'll continue to do so. But there's real world consequences, John. You and I have sat on this program time and time again talking about the 1,000% increase in assaults against our law enforcement. We're seeing law enforcement being stalked, their family members being doxxed where their kids go to school, where their spouses work, and that's going to continue happening until
And I haven't seen any of that in the database. Maybe I missed it, maybe it's in a different section, but I haven't seen anything about ICE agents being attacked within that database. I don't know if it's on accident or if it's on purpose. I'm just trying to let you guys know that is my observation as I investigate this story. You guys can go check out that database yourself and let me know how you feel about it. Now, I don't think anyone is surprised. Tom Homan also chimed in on this story, and whenever there's a Tom Homan clip, we have to involve it within our videos. Let's check it out.
No, so the bottom line is, if you support illegal immigration, then you support the criminal cartels of Mexico. Because no one crosses the border illegally without paying a plaza fee to the criminal cartels. And I'm going to remind everybody, and I'm going to keep reminding these Democrats, where were you the last 4 years?
Wow.
Well, we had over 10 million people come to our border. We had 250,000 Americans die from fentanyl coming across the open border. We had a record number of people from terrorist-sponsored countries coming across the border. Sex trafficking women and children are at a historic high. You let 500,000 children be smuggled in the United States. You lost track of 300,000. You weren't even looking for them.
One thing you have to understand about Tom Homan, out of everybody in the Trump administration, man, does he know his statistics to a T when it comes to this specific topic of deportations and the crimes around the deportations and why agents are doing their jobs on this mass scale.
It's the Trump administration and President Trump's leadership where we've already found over 30,000 of them.
Yeah.
We're not going to let them forget. You are complicit in the biggest national security failure, the biggest humanitarian failure in the history of this nation. So you can scream and yell and do all these apps you want, but we're not going to let you forget. You are complicit. You support illegal immigration, then you support criminal cartels in Mexico. And when they smuggle people, they smuggle guns, they smuggle dope. So that's who you're supporting. Illegal immigration is not a victimless crime, and if they don't know that, they're just simply ignorant.
Wow. Okay, leave your comments down below how you feel about that. And again, this is not an application. I want to put that disclaimer out there. This ICE tracker is not in real time. These are incidents that have been sent to the congressman, and then it is verified through independent sources. Again, the sources we saw was like the New York Times or the Washington Post. This is not like an ICE tracking app. It's an ICE tracking incident app. But it's still problematic even for Tom Homan and Homeland Security because it creates patterns. And if we keep seeing these different patterns in a certain area of the country, we know that people can organize and regroup and start to fight back against Homeland Security.
Criminal illegal aliens. After visiting this ICE detainee, these are 4 California reps. They met with a Honduran national accused of kidnapping and domestic abuse. What do you know about this, Todd?
So yeah, Senator, you're right. So they did meet with this individual. Now, the individual they want to go ahead and talk to and represent has been previously deported. He snuck back into the country, which is a felony itself. But again, just like you told the viewers, he is accused of being a kidnapper and domestic violence. So I'm not sure why any elected official would want to go ahead and grandstand on someone's criminal record like that and try to paint ICE in a bad way for trying to remove this individual from the United States. This is the type of criminal alien that we are going after every day. And for elected officials to stand up and say ICE is wrong and that we aren't going after the worst of the worst, and then to try to use a criminal alien as the poster boy for their efforts, is just sad.
And I'm going to be completely honest with you, I'm having a very hard time trying to figure out what exactly Democrats want. Because there are some more moderate Democrats who realize, hey, we do need deportations and we do need a sense of trying to have protected borders and try to have security in the country. But then on the flip side, you have an extremely radical view of no, everybody is good to go, everyone is welcome, we're good to go. But all of this seems to be in the realm of a left-leaning ideology. I'm having a very hard time tracking what some of these Democrats want and don't want. I'm just trying to show you this story popped up as I was making this video that it looks like some Democrats decided to hang out with an illegal immigrant who also has these alleged crimes tied with him. So leave your comments down below how you feel about this.
And Ms. Carter Walters, what you're saying today, and thank you so much for being here today, for your bravery and your courage to come here today. I don't know if that makes you any more popular in your community, but you're certainly representing what our founders imagined for a nation under a rule of law. And I am grateful to you. Do you believe that federal funding should go to states and cities that are sanctuary cities that refuse to enforce the law and refuse to work with federal law enforcement?
And by the way, I just want to point out in the background, demonstrators protest the raid in St. Paul, Minnesota. We actually already talked about this operation, and today, as I make this video, I also talked about a new operation that went down there. So if you guys want to go check that out, go check it out.
No, I don't believe that. And I just want to say it's not surprising that we don't see no Democrats here, because that's what's happening in Chicago. They don't care about the American citizens or want to hear what we have to say. So thank you for giving us a voice. This right here, what you see, is typical. This is what we deal with in Chicago every day. with the Democratic Party.
Now, to give you an idea of what was happening here, this is a subcommittee hearing in which no Democrat showed up, talking about sanctuary cities and some problems with pushing back against ICE agents not cooperating with the federal government. And I think this is why a lot of Americans have an issue with this oversight immigration enforcement dashboard. You would expect that Democrats would go to that subcommittee hearing just to hear their side of the story, considering a lot of these different locations are in sanctuary cities or sanctuary jurisdictions or in more left-leaning cities within this database. So you guys can leave your comments down below how you feel about that. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I really couldn't find that much information on our initial story, but I figured you'd want to know about this because it's kind of a big deal and not too many people are talking about it. We really do need to pray for peace though. As I make this video, the National Guard story just came out where apparently 2 National Guard members were hit in Washington, D.C. Not a good thing. So please pray for peace. We need it. Make sure to please subscribe, leave your likes and comments, and we will continue with these stories as they come in. Thank you guys so much for everything. God bless, and we'll see you all later.